Right, good day everyone. So continuing on to Surah 8, right? And this the first Surah 8 1. It talks about the bounties of war, right? And as I've been saying, right, um, the one thing that could actually prevent this war from taking place, or could have prevented, or could prevent a war from taking place, is wealth distribution, right? Wealth distribution, right? So I don't know if it's true, but I saw a video with places in Italy being given away, well, sold for $1 or a pound or whatever you all, euro or whatever currency you all use, right? So houses or apartments being given away basically or sold for $1, right? So this is what we want to see. This is what we're aiming for with regard to those who have inherited large amounts of properties, right? This is the aim, right? I don't know how true that video was. Whether or not it was true, well, Allah, God is the judge of that, right? But that's the aim. That's what is being aimed for, right? Those who have inherited mass amounts of wealth, to give your wealth, right? Give your wealth, right? And there would be no need for to even talk about the bounties of war in the first place, right? So amend that which is between you, right? So that's what it's related to, right? Give your wealth and give it to people who are different from you, right? So that you do not have wealth remaining in one bloodline, one lineage, one family lineage, one bloodline, right? Donate your wealth to somebody that is different from you, right? Good. So believers are those who, when Allah is mentioned, their hearts become increased in faith, right? And you think about the consequences of your action, right? Believers are whom when you think about Allah, think about God, your heart increases in faith, and two, you think about the consequences before you act, right? Right, so remember to pray and from what have been provided for you, spend, right? And well, this goes back to my previous conversation about knowing what you're really spending on and whatnot. And this chapter, this surah has a verse talking about that, which is 36, right? Those who disbelieve spend their wealth to avert people from the way of Allah, right? And then it becomes what, a source of regret, right? So for believers is forgiveness and noble provision. So Allah intends to establish the truth by His words, right? Speaking. That's why we ask people to urge people to speak out, right? Speak out and you become your own justice. Speak out and your words have power, right? Speak out and you become justice. You are your own justice. You are justice for situations you were wrong for, right? Come online and speak, right? Speak these things, right? So that others hear, right? Others take action, others hear, right? And take action with regard to these things, right? All of this is what? In the abolition of falsehood and establishment of truth, right? Right, and by doing all these things, you will be what? Purified and removed from evil suggestions suggestions by evil forces, right? By doing all these things, you will be what? Removed from these suggestions of evil forces, right? Or those who want to persuade you into a particular way of life that you are not intended to work, or you are not intended to participate in, right? This is for whomever, right? So Surah 8:19, right? So this has to do with victory and defeat, right? And this righteous war and whatnot, right? If you are called to or urged to a battle, meaning speak, right? You are in terms of a spiritual battle, right? You do the necessary, right? and whether victory or defeat comes to you, it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter, right? It should not matter. It does not matter, right? Knowing that what? You have done your part, right? You have done your part, right? I'm not going to even say played your role, right? Because that's acting, right? And we don't act, right? You would have done your part, right? So 22 says the worst creatures in the sight of Allah are those who do not use reason, right? So like I was saying, using your heart only, your emotions flux up and down, right? Using your heart only, your emotions flux up and down, right? That's why intelligent humans are designed to be intelligent creatures, meaning using your mind, right? That's why we are encouraging people to use your mind to think, right? Think about the things that you do, think about the things that you consume, think about the things that you eat, all these things, right? Intelligent people are those who use their mind, right? In addition to your heart, using your mind alone, right? You become too logical, you lose your heart. Using your heart alone, right? Your emotions flux up and down and you're unable to reason, right? So you use both. So respond to Allah and to the Messenger when He calls you to that which gives you life, right? And it says that Allah intervenes between man and his heart, right? That's coming again with our topic of reasoning, right? Utilizing your reasoning in your life, right? It says fair trial, right? Well, in a trial meaning a test, right? In life you'll be put through different situations and you'll have to find a way out of it, right? A trial meaning a test, a affliction, some sort of thing that will test your faith, test your principle, test your values, your morals, these things, right? Right, so what? Properties, your wealth, all these things might be a trial, a test, right? Properties, even your children, your parents, all these things might be a test for you, right? For some of us, not everybody, right? Not everybody, but for some of us, where your parents might be a test for you, your children might be a test for you, right? Your house, your land, your properties, your wealth, all these things might be tests or trials, right? So Allah God grants criterion, specific things as outlined in the book, right? There are specific things outlined in the book, right, that can help you to remove your past misdeeds and to earn the forgiveness by correcting those past misdeeds and adding on good deeds, right? Right. So 35 says, at your prayer, when you pray, right, let not your prayer be simply you singing, right? You singing songs, clapping, right? Clapping and singing songs, right? That's just one part of the story, right? Clapping, singing song. If you do these things and you call it prayer, right? You sing and you clap and so on, is not prayer. Is not all that is prayer, but is not that which is necessary to be a good person, right? It's not all that is necessary. It's not all that God requires of you to be a good person. You need to do more than that, right? You need to do more than sit in a prayer session, clap, sing, play instruments, right? There's more to be done in order to be classified as a good person in the eyes and the sight of Allah, right? You need to do more than sitting at a prayer, clapping, singing, playing instruments, right? These things are all things of the world, right? Instruments, entertainment, music, right? All these things are things of the world, and to actually be a good person, you need to do more than that, which is action-oriented stuff, or withdrawal of actions that are wrong, right? Right. So the way out of difficulties is to follow the criteria that is outlined in the book, right? The way out of difficulty is to follow the guidance or criterion outlined in the book, right? Whatever is applicable to you, right? 39 says fight until there's no persecution, right? So persecuting people for no reason, right? The persecution of people for no reason, right? Persecuting people or giving them unnecessary punishments where they don't deserve it, right? Persecuting people, fight against this until this is no more, right? And when that happens, then all you know that all of your actions, your worship is for the sake of Allah, right? When there's none of these things happening again, right? Like persecuting people for innocently or for no reason, right? So do not dispute against these things, these teachings, right? Because by that you would have lost courage. You would have lost courage and your strength would have departed, right? So 49 talks about the disease of the heart, right? Diseases of the heart, which we mentioned previously, which is arrogance and disbelief, right? You do not believe. Truth comes to you, a message comes to you, and you don't believe it. You don't trust in it, you don't believe it, and it was revealed directly to you, right? And you bypass it, you disbelieve it, you say, you doubt it, you say this is untrue, right? This is and it's directly in front of you, right? So all these things are what? Diseases of the heart, right? Right, Allah is never unjust to his servants, and this is not, this servants of Allah is not for a specific few or a specific group of people, right? This is anybody, right? Anybody, right? So it is said that Allah is not unjust to servants, right? Right, 61 says incline to peace, right? But then 65 says urge believers to battle, right? Which is what I am encouraging people to do, to come along and fight for that which is right, because that is a way of getting to peace, right? Urging people to battle, right, for the sake of that which is right, is the way to pursue peace, right? Is the way to arrive at peace, right? So when you speak and speak words and teach the right thing and do the right thing, and you encourage others to do that, then you are what? Creating or making a way, showing a way, right? Being a way shower, showing a way for a path of peace, right? So if whoever you consider your enemy, right, comes to make peace with you, once you have done your part in fighting your fight, in the righteous fight, you make peace with that person as well, right? Right. So 66 says that Allah has lightened hardships for you. He knows that amongst you is weakness, right? So this is what my conversations about, for example, for the point about consuming meat and meat products and so on, right? And this is what the book is about, right? So rather than this hard and fast approach, right, in terms of cutting out the meat products altogether, is difficult for people to do that, and God knows that, right? So that's why I've been suggesting this phased approach, right, which is in the book itself, right? Such as what? Moving from hard meats, right, that you consume, beef, pork, all these things, right, ducks, all these things. You move to what? Seafood. You gradually move to lighter forms of meat, right? Or lesser evolved beings, right? So you move from the consumption of meats like cows, chickens, ducks, right? You move to seafood, right? And then you move to not eating meat altogether, if you can actually achieve that in this life, right? So Allah has lightened hardships for you because he knows that amongst you is weakness, right? Doesn't mean that you do anything you want or you eat anything you want. Definitely doesn't mean that, right? Is that understanding that this process is a difficult process for the entire world, right? It's a very, very extremely difficult process for the world, and it is phased, right? the only way you can really truly do this is to phase that over a prolonged period of time, right? Phase it out. Right. So 67 says you, meaning some Muslims, desire the commodities of the world, but Allah intends for you the hereafter, right? So this is for some Muslims, right? Or yeah, right? Desire the commodities of the world, right? So this is for whoever it may concern, right? Desiring only the commodities of the world, right? Is a call to return back to your path, to return back to the path that you're supposed to be working on, right? So have a good day everyone. Tomorrow we continue with Surah 9.